Well, here's the show that'll change your life. Your life's about to change. All your limiting beliefs, break on through before your brain is fried. Break on through, I will be your guide. Break on through and free your mind, yeah. You'll find your answers here. The show that'll take you there. Episode number 68. Break on through, I will be your guide. Break on through and free your mind.
Rising higher than mainstream thinking. Are you annoyed by affirmations? When the person next to you on the elevator tells you to think positively, do you find yourself jamming the button for the next floor to get off as quickly as possible? If affirmations feel like lies and positive thinking feels like denial, then start the journey of incredible learning and growth so that you can create the life you've always wanted now. Hello, this is Paul Coliani, host of The Overwhelmed Brain, the personal growth show for the critical thinker. On this show, I discuss practical, down-to-earth steps to help you improve your mood, your sanity, and your life. We'll talk about why we do the things we do and what we can do to reach higher levels of happiness and lower levels of stress and overwhelm. My goal is to help you become empowered so that you can create the life you want. Today's sponsor is The Overwhelmed Brain. Visit theoverwhelmedbrain.com/books and get the ebook, Clear the Path to Happiness. It's about what you can do to clear all the obstacles that prevent you from being as happy as you deserve. And you can learn where that happiness is inside of you. Visit theoverwhelmedbrain.com/books. Today we have part 2 of a 2-part relationship coaching episode. This is a long one, so I apologize for the length. However, instead of cutting it down, I chose to keep the entire length intact because of the many aspects of Michael and Daria's communication. Sometimes how you communicate with the ones you love can create a worse situation than what you started off talking about to begin with. So to hear the entire conversation unfold, especially into a near full-blown argument, is important as it applies to the lessons to be learned today. In part 1, I talked with Michael from the Heal from the Ground Up podcast. He's a fellow coach who just happens to also be a client of mine. We talked about his relationship with his fiancée and how he could better communicate and understand her better so that they could build a strong, supportive, loving foundation going into their marriage. The foundation you build with the people you love is so vital to how the rest of the relationship will go. If there is fighting and arguing before the marriage, it will only amplify afterward. Not all the time, but it's a strong indicator of how things will go. In my experience with clients, marriage typically amplifies what's going wrong with the relationship. And what's good either stays good or declines because of what's bad. In Michael and Daria's case, they argue quite a bit. They have a heated discussion almost daily. If not an argument, then triggered negative emotions of some sort. This episode gives you a giant glimpse of their communication issues and how they go from being unsupportive to downright angry and accusatory of each other. What's great about listening in on their argument is that they're going back and forth on the stuff that we all get heated about every now and then. I'm talking about the trivialities of living together, like leaving your socks on the floor when your partner wants you to keep the house clean, or leaving the toothpaste cap off, or something like that. They argue about the kind of stuff that so many of us bicker about, and in fact, in this particular episode, their argument happened to be perfect because I was able to experience the way they communicate and help them understand why their arguing wasn't helping at all. In fact, all it did was only pour fuel on the fire and never resolve anything. This is going to be a long episode, so I want to start the conversation right away. Let me just give you one heads up. You're going to hear some genuine communication issues between Michael and Daria. So there are times when I'll just let them go at it and keep snapping at each other. I don't do this to prolong any agony. I do it so that I can listen for clues to the actual challenges they're having. What people argue about is rarely the exact problem they're having. So listen closely as they go back and forth and see if you can hear what the real issues are before I break it down for them after the energy of the situation calms a bit. Let's break into the point where Daria just walked into the room to join Michael and I in our current conversation. I opened with a comment to Daria about Michael's patience. The joke is that Michael has had very little patience with her, but I like to open my sessions with people with some humor to help ease any tension that may have built up from either of them coming into the call. It creates a more comfortable mood for what's to come. Are you ready for a long but educational journey into the healing and growing of this couple? All right, here we go. Hey, there you are.
Here I am. I have arrived.
I was just saying how patient he's been lately. He said, I don't care if she stays in the other room watching the YouTube video. That doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So, I want you to tell me, Daria, an example of when Michael gets angry. I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot.
There's plenty. Where do I start? Where do I begin?
Oh, I know.
Well, when does he get angry? Like, anything like small triggers him, and that's kind of strange because he gets angry about like really like tiny things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Trivial.
Like for example, okay, let me see. I mean, just for example, like 2 days ago, I guess, like, I was watching videos, like Michael likes to go to bed like earlier or whatever, or he doesn't want to go to bed late, which I know, but like I was in my room downstairs watching like YouTube or whatever, and then he was upstairs, and it was around it was already around midnight. It was maybe like 12:05 or like already midnight, and I keep looking, maybe between midnight and 1 a.m. And
he knows.
And I kept looking kind of at the clock. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I guess he's still doing something too, because unless he like comes down and tells me like, oh, like we should go to bed now. I was just watching something, so I'm like, if he doesn't like tell me, then I guess I'll just like watch a little bit more of what I'm like, do a little bit more what I'm doing.
Sure. And
then suddenly, like at 12:15 or 12:30, like Michael comes into my room, and he gets so angry, and he's like, "Really, Daria? Really?" And then I'm like, "Oh my god!" And like I get this like unpleasant feeling because it's obviously not like, he's like, "Really? Are you really watching those YouTube videos?" Like that, but in a lower voice.
Oh yeah.
And then like, yeah, and he got like really upset at me, and then. But I like started like getting ready for bed like immediately because I know that we have to go to bed. But then like he just started doing like he was like, okay, now I'm gonna lock you out of our like sleeping room or things like that,
So why did he say that? Why did he say really?
Because
he couldn't believe that I was being so like late.
Because sleep is so important to me.
Right.
And she had told me that she needs to stay up later to do some translation work.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll let her do her work. But then when I want to go to sleep, I go check on her. She's actually just watching a YouTube video.
Right.
Like during the day, I told him I would be doing some translation work and I would be staying up later. But when I came back after dinner, I was like, whatever, I'll just watch some videos. And I was too lazy. And so there was like a miscommunication because like I told him I would be doing it and I ended up watching videos. And I could have just like told him that, oh, actually, I'm not going to be doing my like that work, or he could have just come down to check on me, like, oh, are you really doing translation work? So there was like just miscommunication. It doesn't really like his fault or whatever, or my fault, I guess. But the way he reacted, the thing is like his irrational behavior and anger actually made us go to bed even later because he locked me out of the room.
Right.
Then he then eventually he did let me into the room. I went to bed right away. Then he said, I'm leaving and sleeping in another room. I'm like, okay, you can go sleep in another room. Then about 15 minutes later, someone is knocking on the door. He's back. No, I'm not going to sleep there. My bed is here. I'm going to sleep here. And eventually we ended up going to bed even later. And it's like, what's the whole fuss about? Like, and it's just kind of like, why do you get so angry? Just whatever, you know?
Michael, you have all...
I feel like she gets angry. I get angry because she acts like a child. And that just triggers...
Your child?
That's the trigger for me. Yeah.
So when she acts like a child, it triggers your child, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh. She acts like a child. Oh. So let me act like a child. Hang on a second.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah.
Oh, that scared me. Something in my studio just moved. It was my cat.
Oh, okay. Pretty creepy.
I think he fell or something. I don't know what it was. So what's interesting is that, let's just say that she went down to watch videos and she changed her mind. So what's your reaction, Michael, to her changing her mind without even thinking about how late it was, from watching translation videos to just being lazy and watching any videos? How does that fly with you? Is that okay? Is that cool? Hey, she can change her mind. Or you told me you were going to watch translation videos and you're not watching translation videos.
No. It was, she had to do translation work.
Okay.
And she told me when she comes back, she hadn't finished. She still needs to do some.
Right.
And she was going to come back really late. And I don't like sleeping late because I have sleep paranoia and I need to sleep at a certain time. And also I have work the next morning. Mm-hmm. But it comes to find out that she's actually not even doing any work, but watching Conan O'Brien.
The thing is, like, Michael is very nosy, like his mom, like his mother. She's so nosy.
Oh my God.
She like really she doesn't do that with me, because with me, like, that wouldn't work. It would just really freak me out and I would just do anything to just, but like her character, like, she's very, like, she tries to help people, I guess. So it's a good thing, like, to try to help people. But like, she meddles in everyone's business, like, trying to help people. So she's trying to do a good thing, you know. And Michael is kind of like that too. Like, I do something and he often like, oh, you shouldn't be doing it like that. You shouldn't be doing it like this. Or like, you know, or like he thinks that like, oh, you're watching those videos. You should be either doing translation work or sleeping. And it's like, it's not that he's wrong every time he said, like, no. But the thing is, like, you should, like, other people are adults. And both Michael and his mother should give other people, like, you know, respect other adults and, like, not be like you don't have to, like, you know.
You've told me this before. You said because you were never allowed to be a child with your parents, that's why you act like a child with me.
Right. And you act like your mom with her.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I can't really act as a child. I mean, the thing is, like, I just, like, I'm doing something, and then, because I think, like, it's not that I'm acting like a child. I mean, sometimes I probably do, like, act like a child, yeah. But then, like, often also I'm just doing my own thing. And to you, for some reason, it doesn't make sense, or you think it's not the right thing to be doing, so you start treating me like a child, because to you it doesn't make sense, or you don't approve of it. But that doesn't mean that what I'm doing is necessarily, like, a childish thing, or that I'm acting like a child, you know? It's just that you perceive so many things that I do like I'm being a child, but I'm not being a child. I'm pretty, like, self-sufficient for my age, you know?
Yeah. It's not so much that either one of you are being a child, it's just that a child typically feels unsafe for some reason. So it seems like childlike behavior. But what it really is a safety issue, typically. Safety and trust. So when she's reacting to something, she feels unsafe in some way. It could be because of childhood. Yes, it usually is. When you are reacting, Michael, it's usually because you feel unsafe or untrusting or untrustworthy in some way. Or there's some sort of safety and trust issue that typically is a very low-level, deep-rooted issue, and why it leads to external outbursts that you guys have and stuff. So that's why I asked you, is if she's not doing her transcription work and then she's watching videos, regardless of the time, does it still bother you?
If she's not doing her translation work?
Like, if I'm not doing work, if I'm just doing something like...
She changed her mind. She changed her mind. Now she's making a smoothie and watching videos. Totally just let go of the transcription work.
But she knows that I want to sleep by a certain time.
No. Forget the time. Say it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She said, I'm going to come home and do transcription work. And she changes her mind and she does videos and she doesn't tell you about it. I just want to know where you are with that.
It's because that's a different situation because sleep is important to me. That's why I reacted that way.
Okay, so if it was 2 p.m. and she changed her mind and it wasn't affecting your sleep, you would have.
Oh, okay, so another example is so I make smoothies, green smoothies for her in the morning, and I'm like I have a background in nutrition, and you're not supposed to mix fruits with.
Oh my god, that is so true. Oh, listen to this.
Oh my god, where's this session going?
Yeah, so she'll eat like.
Wait, we're not supposed to mix what with what?
Okay, so you're not supposed to mix fruit with carbohydrates or animal protein, or else it causes constipation.
Oh my god, this is so far off topic.
No, but anyways, that causes constipation.
I'm sure it does.
Because if you mix she'll eat like a turkey jerky, and with the smoothie, I was like, "What are you doing?" Because you told me yesterday, the day before, I want to detox. I was like, "How are you going to detox?" That food is all just gonna get clumped together and then gonna stay in your stomach.
Well, it is true. I want to lose weight.
Yeah,
but I mean, I can control myself. I don't need anyone telling me. I don't know.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. So that's why I was going to ask you, Michael, is do you feel like you need to control what she does?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
No, because if I don't, then I feel like she's like a train wreck waiting to happen.
What do you mean? Against you? I mean, what do you mean by that?
With her own life.
Right, but why would you want your mom controlling you? I mean, why would anybody want that in their life? I'm speaking from experience because I was a heck of a controller when I was married. Okay. I was highly judgmental, and I wanted to make sure what she put in her mouth was healthy for her, and boy.
She doesn't think about consequences. So it triggers me to want to do that. And I know that I do it inappropriately. It's...
No, the thing is, I don't know, why you do that, but... Because the way Michael explains it now, it sounds like I'm, a child.
Right.
And, I don't know what I'm doing. But the thing is, I actually, am an adult, and I behave like an adult. But for some reason, you talk about me right now, and I guess you also treat me sometimes as if I am a child, and I don't know why you do that.
She's really smart. She's an amazing person, but she'll do certain actions that, to be honest, it's really not thinking about consequences and not thinking about other people.
Yeah, you're doing it again right now.
I know, but that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You'll leave the trash piling until it's Mount Everest, and no matter where we've lived, you were living somewhere else, and you expected the landlord to throw out your trash because that's what they did in Pomona. It's you don't think about consequences, you don't think about other people, and that's childish behavior. You're smart, you're amazing, you're you're loving, you're the person for me, you're so introspective, you do amazing things, but that certain behavior is not thinking about consequences and not thinking about other people, and that's what triggers me. And I know that I'm constantly like a hawk, thinking about oh, I gotta make sure that she passes her exam so she can graduate.
Right.
It's I know I carry that sense of responsibility. Well, and I have that feeling.
Yeah, let me tell you something. When you're under the watchful eye of someone constantly, not only are subconscious rebellious behaviors going to show themselves, they're only going to get worse, and resentment will build. So what's happening with you guys, and I'm just making a blanket statement here, is that, Michael, you are creating a scenario in which she is going to get worse and worse and worse, whether subconsciously or not, because being continuously controlled will create resentment, will create hatred, will create mistrust. Because what's not happening in her life is that, okay, let's say, a good example, the garbage piles up. You're going to get angry. You're going to see consequences maybe before she does, or maybe she knows and she just doesn't care, or maybe she does care and she wants to see your reaction or whatever. The point is, she never reaches a level of accountability because you are going to be there to say, look what you're doing wrong. And as long as you're there saying that, then the cycle starts all over again.
You see, the thing is,
Wait.
really
That
wanna,
was really important.
the thing is, I think what I think should be really, I don't like it. It's heavy. The thing is, I think that should be mentioned is that when the reason I don't care here about trash or whatever is that like when we lived together just independently, I would always like clean the room, and I think you will agree that when we were renting that room, I was always the one like cleaning the room, taking out all the trash every week, and doing everything that needed to be done, cooking and everything. And I really did not want to move in here with his parents, and so for me it is like I'm not like doing it as an open rebellion, like I'm not gonna take the trash because I don't want to live here. It's not like that, but it's just that I try to spend as little time here in this house as possible, and just to be like outside doing like work and everything, just like every day like somewhere outside, because I really just don't like want to live with Michael's parents. And so it's not that I'm a child. I don't know that trash needs to be taken out or
She doesn't have a choice because she wanted
I don't have a
us to
choice,
live together,
'cause I
but
don't
she
have a
couldn't
choice.
pay for
I
the
don't
rent.
have enough money like right now.
So
to buy
she
a
wanted me to
house
pay for all of the rent.
or to rent like a room, and I don't have a choice, and I'm living with his parents right now.
That's
But I
not thinking
hate
about
it.
consequences.
Like I mean, it's not like they torture me or anything, and it's fine, and I appreciate that they let me stay here. It's very nice of them, but I do not want to live with Michael's parents, and so it's not that I'm like childish. I don't know, like to take out the trash or like if I had my own like room, like I would polish it and clean it and take out the trash. And I mean, I also have to be respectful because it's not my space, and I have to like take out trash and everything. So I should be more careful. But in a way, it's just that because I am that kind of person. Like if I don't like something, it will be very hard to get me to do it. Or like, and if I don't like living here, then there's nothing like Michael or his parents can do to like make me want to live with them. Just because I'm not that kind of person, I do not want to live with parents. And it obviously does have to do with my own parents and just not wanting, and just in general, I'm the kind of person that I love just like independence. I don't want anyone like standing over me, like Michael's mom. Even she's a nice lady, but I'm not interested. Like and also like what bothers me more, because I wouldn't say like Michael controls me like a lot or anything. Like it does, like it is true that happens, but I think more like it kind of bothers me because I live here, and then like last time Michael told me how he talked to his parents, and his parents like they were like unhappy that I don't try to spend enough time with them, and it's like I already live in their house, and this is already getting on my nerves. And now like his mom like wants me to like spend time with them, and then Michael like tries to force me to eat lunch with them every Sunday, and it's like too much for me because I'm like more of a free spirit, and it's just crazy like living with his parents. Oh my god. And now like also like his parents want me to spend more time. It's just like, so I think that's more of an issue. Yeah.
Well, what do you want, Daria?
Sorry?
What do you want? Sounds like you want the best of every single world out there.
What do I want?
Yeah, I want to know what you want.
You're saying I want the best of every single world? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying it sounds like that. It sounds like you want everything taken care of for you so you can just do whatever you want. And I'm not saying that it is.
That's true. That's true.
All right, well, that's good. That's good. That's honest. That's honest.
Yes.
Yes. In a way, it is true that I don't want to have to. It is true, yeah, that I want to have and I want to have everything really. I want to have a nice house, like here and there, and I want to be able to travel.
Yeah.
And I also want to be like in a loving relationship, and I want to have a really good job and enough money
and not work. Have a good job and not work.
That's not true. Why do you put me down? I do work. I do translation work.
Good point. Good point, Daria. He tried to snap at you there.
It is true, yeah. I mean, it is true that I am like that, I guess. But at the same time, I just don't want
to. All right. Well, hold on a second, because right now you're in a situation. Here's what I see. You're in a situation that you don't like, so you basically don't want to do a lot of the stuff because you're in this bad situation, or this situation you don't like. It's not a bad situation because you're being taken care of. You have a shelter, and you have a bathroom. I mean, certainly when you're homeless, you don't have a bathroom. I mean, there's benefits to being where you're at. And I'm not saying...
I mean, I know I sound like a brat.
No.
I know I sound like a brat.
No. No, you don't. No, you're being honest. This is perfect.
I'm an honest brat, so
that's okay. It's not a brat at all. You just need to get it out and figure out. That's why I asked you, what do you want then? Knowing... Yeah, what do you want? I mean, what do you want for a living arrangement? Well, how about that? First question.
Okay, I want to live like in San Francisco. I want to have a small loft in San Francisco.
Okay.
My own loft, and I want to live there.
Your own.
So I can live far enough from Michael's parents, so I don't have to eat lunch with them every Sunday. I'm sorry. I know it sounds like evil, and they're really nice to me, but I just like having really controlling parents, like living with another set of parents who are really nice, but still like really controlling. It's just annoying me.
But my parents don't control her. Because I make sure my mom, I said, Mom, you better respect the boundary. Yeah. Don't come into this side of the house.
Like,
yeah, but I tell her not to control you, not to like. Okay, you can't make her do anything. Okay, and she literally is like a ghost in the house because it's like walled off, and she just goes in the side entrance. Like she's a ghost to my parents.
Yeah, and the thing is
like my mom is not terrorizing you.
No, but yeah, I know that is true. That is true. But the thing is, like you told me yesterday, it is so annoying that it is annoying to you that I don't like. That I like don't want to hang out with your parents more, or that I don't want to.
Because you don't want to hang out with them at all. Family is important to me.
Yeah, and to me, it is annoying that your parents that I have to live with your parents, and that I already see them like. But
I'm thinking you should be appreciative. Like we live in such a nice place.
The thing is,
she doesn't have to pay for food.
Yes, and the thing is, like,
and what is she complaining about?
No, I know. Like as people, they're so nice to let me stay, to give me food and everything. Like, God bless them. And I was talking to my friend, and she told me, like, oh my God, like, because she understands me. She's been living with her parents since graduation, and she said, oh my God, like, I have been living with my parents, and I'm already, like, sick and tired of living with them. I can't believe you, like, live with someone else's parents. Like, that's just ridiculous. So it's not like I'm, like, the only, like, so I really appreciate it, and they're nice to me, and it's just true, they don't bother me. And I don't expect that anything like a loft will fall into my hands or anything. I barely like started doing like some work or whatever, like finishing college. But I guess I'm just saying like I appreciate where I am right now, but at the same time, like I don't necessarily, whatever. I think whatever. So what, yeah.
No, that's good. I wanted you to talk until you couldn't talk anymore. Not because I don't want to hear you. It's not that. It's not because I don't want to hear you. It's because there's a lot on your mind. And the more and longer it stays in there, the more rebellious you get, the more you'll lash out, the more argumentative you get.
I guess, I mean, okay, sorry. I guess, like, for example, last time we talked, I really felt, like, really angry and everything. And then, like, what we talked about last time really helped me. And I feel like now, actually, it's kind of Michael more getting angry than me, like, in the past couple of days at least. And I'm actually much more calm. But the thing is, like, I'm now kind of, like, at the very beginning of starting to build my own life. Like, last time I was really lost and just depressed. Like, no, nothing. Now I'm actually, like, starting, like, very slowly to, like, understand, oh, what am I, like, I have started doing a little bit of translations. I really enjoy that. And, I don't know, like, and we also went to San Francisco, and it once again confirmed to me that I like bigger cities more than, like, living, like, I guess in a town or whatever. I guess it's just, like, I guess I just don't want to, I guess I'm not such a family person, and I just want to go more in the direction of, like, where I'm starting to go, and, like, living with Michael's parents just reminds me, no, this is not the direction I want to go into, or, like, even, like, having to, like, eat lunch with them, like, they're very nice people, and I mean, yeah, of course, like, it's nice to eat lunch with them, but it's just not, like, in the direction in which I want to go. I don't want to go in the direction of, like, that, like, family, like, person or whatever. That's just not who I am.
Do you want to... Oh, go ahead, Michael.
This is not the case, because she loves my cousins. And she...
Yeah, that's true, because they're more, like, friends.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I love hanging out.
She loved my cousins more than she loved my friends, because deep down, she wants to have family. She didn't have the family when she grew up. So this saying, like, oh, you know, I'm not a family person is not the case. No, I'm not a family person,
but I have, like, his cousins.
She treats her friends like family because she didn't have a family.
Mm-hmm. My friends, they are my family. Like,
right now, I see you really.
No, and your cousins. The thing is, like, because they're my age, like, or like around your age, my age. So like people who are like around my age, and if I get along with them, oh my god, like I'll treat them like family. Like I will hang out with them. I will, and that's how I treat like his cousins and all my friends. But like with older people, like who are like parents, like if they try to like give advice or something, like I'm like, no, like this is like, and that's why I guess like I don't want to like even risk like living with Michael's parents, really.
I create this amazing shelter with her so that my parents don't do anything.
But it bothers me, for example, we went to San Francisco and Michael's cousin, like she mentioned how Michael's mom texted his cousin so that his cousin reminds Michael to wash his hands and like a bunch of stuff like that. And like to me, it triggers me because I get like really like, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe, Michael, you allow this to happen to you.
But so that's about you. That's something within you. You cannot, no matter what changes. See, like my anger is something within me. This thing about my parents is something within you.
All right, Michael, hold on. So what I'm gathering here.
Sorry, Paul. Paul's like,
I'll retire for the night. I'll let you like talk.
I was playing on my Game Boy. What did you say? No. No. What I'm gathering here, this is interesting because I didn't think it was going to go in this direction, but I forget if we brought this up before. But this might be kind of hard to hear, actually. I think she wants to be, how can I word this so it's not totally offensive?
Oh, no, it's okay. You can offend me. It's fine. I'm not the kind of.
It's not really about you, Daria. It's actually about Michael.
Oh really? Oh yeah. Then go ahead.
Then go with it. What I sense from Michael is that he's. I'm so sorry. Is that you're kind of a mama's boy, and I think you've said that before.
Wait, please repeat that. You sense he's a little bit of mama's boy? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Can
you please repeat that?
Yeah.
Just for the record?
She's getting you back now, Michael.
Did you say yes?
Yes. So, in the sense, listeners, she's actually doing the yes with her fist. No, in the sense, because I've also been here in my marriage, in the sense that she needs a man to stand up for her. So it's not necessarily that you're kissing your mom's butt or whatever, even though it may be happening, I don't know. But it's hard to be a woman and feminine when you are with someone who has feminine qualities over masculine qualities. So when she is trying to be more feminine, which may end up leading her to being more family-oriented, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but when she is trying to be more feminine, which I think is happening, and she looks to you for that masculine side and she doesn't get it because I'm afraid of my mom, or I'm afraid of this, or I get angry, or whatever, then when she doesn't get that, then she has to reverse roles and be the masculine side. Because that's what typically happens in a relationship. You have one person that's more feminine, even in gay relationships. You have one person that's more feminine, one person that's more masculine, and the roles take place as they take place through the communication from each of you. Now, as one of you stands up and wears the pants and say, you know what, let me take care of this. That's kind of a masculine say, you know what, let me take care of this. I'll go take care of it. Because exactly what she just said right now, you got texted to wash your hands. That tells me that she sees you as weak, that she sees you as someone who is more in touch, because you're a very kinesthetic person, with your feminine side. And
that text was to my cousin. It wasn't to me. I can't stop what my mom.
It doesn't matter. That's a frivolous detail. What I hear from her is you're getting these little commands from your mom indirectly or whatever. It doesn't matter. Because in some of the other things she said before, and in some of the things you've told me, Michael, about, your mom having some sort of control in your life. And, and I'm just going to paint a picture whether it's true or not. There's the man who has a woman he's going to marry, and he is the knight in shining armor to her. And then when the mom comes in and says whatever she says, you look at your mom and you go, Mom, she's my fiance. I'll take care of it. No, you stay out of this. This is my matter. This is the man's role that steps in and says, I love my woman. I'm here to support her, and I'm here to do what it takes to keep this relationship together. And she also has a role too. I'm not saying that this is all you, Michael.
I do tell my mom that, though. Like,
again, it's a frivolous detail. Okay. Doesn't matter. I'm not talking details. I'm talking about the whole essence of masculinity here, because you are a very kinesthetic person. Kinesthetic people are typically more, like the word says, in touch. They're in touch with their feminine side. Typically, they're in touch with their emotions more often. She's more masculine in this role that she's in now. It doesn't have to stay this way. But it is one of the deepest levels of aspects of who you are and what role you're playing in the relationship. And the relationship I see today is she's very dominating. She's very domination is a masculine trait. She's very dominating. She's talking a lot. And I'm not saying anything bad, Daria. I'm just saying this is what happens when you have a masculine role. And she feels like she has to take over, and she feels like she has to say things so that you get it. And so these are very dominating characteristics. And when she's throwing this stuff at you, it's all coming from that masculine energy. And with you, Michael, I sense that you have some repressed anger, repressed pain, and it comes out in bursts, and you get triggered. And that's very typically feminine. And I'm not saying it's, feminine and masculine doesn't matter which one you are, as long as you're comfortable in the roles. But I can see that you're both uncomfortable in those roles. I can see that you're uncomfortable in that feminine role because you want to be a supporter, and you also want her to help support the family as well. And every type of, when there's an invalidation of some sort, it slipped out when you said, oh, she doesn't have a job. And she's like, no, I do have a job. You're supposed to know, that's, of course I have a job. But obviously there's something about that bothers you. Maybe she's not making enough money, or, she's disrespecting you in some way, or you just feel those ways, or what have you. But the roles that you're playing right now are incompatible with who you really want to be. Because as soon as you embrace those roles, as soon as you embrace more of the masculine, Michael, whatever that means to you, and then as soon as you embrace more of the feminine, they're going to start evening out. Because all of this really does come down to, in my opinion, I could be totally wrong, in my opinion, it really does come down to the role you play in the relationship. And
I think the thing is, sorry.
Go ahead. Good for you.
I think to underline my dominant role, I guess I'll speak some more. No, I'm just joking.
You apologize, though. That was very nice.
I guess the thing is, it is true. I think by nature, it is also true that I do have, I'm not very, I'm not too feminine, and, Michael is not too masculine. He has, quite a lot of, feminine in him. I do have quite a lot of, masculine in me, so by nature, but, also, I'm not necessarily, saying, oh, I'm not okay with embracing more of that masculine role. I'm not sure I'm totally uncomfortable in it, because I do kind of freedom, and I am okay with, for example, making more money than Michael, or in the future. Obviously, right now I make very little, but or even maybe, for example, I'm starting to understand now that if I want to us both to live in a house separately, to have a house, to move out of his parents' house and to live separately, I have come to understand that I will have to do the most of the saving and most of the we're moving out, because I feel with Michael he will not, at least not soon. Although honestly, I doubt there will be a day where he'll be Daria, that's it. We're gonna save for a house. We're buying a house.
That's not fair, because I'm working my butt off.
I know. But
in my podcast and in my family business.
You do. But I feel
you're not.
I will eventually. But let me talk, and then you'll talk. I'm not in any way saying you're doing the wrong thing or anything. I'm just saying that I have come to realize that if I want us to like move out of this of his parents' house and have a place of our own and start like our separate life from his parents, I have come to realize that it will be a lot of it up to me to just like do most of the savings, the down payment, like the house, and for us to move out, and maybe even like
I don't want to live with my parents.
Not even that not that Michael is not capable of making those payments, but it's just he's not as decisive as me. I'm like, okay, we have to do this. We're not living with your parents. We're moving out.
But you're
Michael
decisive without actually making the money to make that decision.
No, that's not now.
You're just like, I want to do this, I want to do this, but you make no money.
Future. Yeah, no. I'm saying for the future. And, so I'm okay with that role, but I would still need Michael to, like, leave this house with me.
I want to have a house.
Down the road, I hopefully will have saved enough money for, like, a room, to buy a room or something. But the thing is, like, so I am even okay with, like, maybe making more of the payments, doing more of the savings, doing the planning or whatever. And I like, being the one in charge anyway. But the thing is, like, I would need Michael to, like, move out with me, come with me, like finally leave his parents. Because Michael keeps telling me, oh, I think you're trying to like sever my relation from my parents.
In a different situation. There's nothing to I
need you to like finally leave your parents. Not like leave them as never talk to them again and like whatever, not in that. But just like, come on, grow, like leave the house.
But I want to leave a house, move somewhere, pay mortgage. I don't want to pay rent. And I want to be better off financially.
When we were, renting out that room, like, he would seriously, every day, he wakes up, like, at 10 a.m., he leaves, goes into his parents' house, or, like, goes into the pharmacy where his parents are, every day. And I was like, Michael, why do you have to see your parents every day? Well, it's nice to see my mom every day, like, a little bit. Even if we don't talk, just to see her, like, it's like, come on, so... I mean, I'm not like making fun of you, and I know you.
That's
like,
not
get
the case because my parents are in Taiwan right now, and I feel good because I don't have my mom like nagging me all the time. I want to live separately.
Eventually you'll
I don't want to live in San Francisco.
Leave your parents.
I will.
And come with me.
I'm working
Even
hard.
If you make most of the savings,
you're not making anything right now.
You will have to leave your mom eventually.
This is. I'm sorry, Paul.
No, this is
I'm
good.
sorry, everybody who's listening.
No, this is going to be the highest rated episode ever.
If you want me to be honest, then I'll be honest.
I want to live separately. I want to, and I'm working so hard.
You've been telling me this for like since we met.
No, but I'm working hard. You are just not even making any money.
I don't say
and you're completely like leaching off, freeloading off me and my parents.
No, it's more about the mindset. It's not.
I have the mindset. I already talked to my parents about because in Chinese Asian families, a lot of the parents will help pay the down payment, and so I already talked to them like, what can I do to get to that place? But I need to be better off financially to pay the mortgage every time. Like, I'm not even really expecting her to pay for. I'll pay for almost most of it. I don't even expect her to. I'm trying to get to that place.
And
I'm working hard.
Michael's parents, I don't know, because I asked him to talk to his parents about mortgage because, and he said that he talked, and I don't know whether they're ready or not. But the thing is, like, we know in advance that Michael's parents, like, if they do help us with down payment, it's gonna be like seriously within like how many miles radius of your parents' house? Like 20 miles, 50 miles? I think 20 is more like realistic. So we have to stay within this like radius. What's
wrong with that?
So unless we want to stay within 20-mile radius of his parents' house, or basically we don't even have to move out. We can just keep living in this house then if it's 20-mile radius.
No, that'd be great.
Then we have to make our own save for our own down payment. And Michael is like, he's not gonna do that. I've been asking him like, so I think I'll have to like save, and then I'll have to. Like,
you don't save. All you do is spend money, and you're in debt.
And
you ask me to spend more money. You're never gonna save.
Leave as in never talk to them again. Like, just leave as in like as a grown up. Like,
I am. I'm gonna leave when I can pay for mortgage. I don't want to pay rent just to leave. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make a smart move, and I work my butt off.
I know. I trust you. Of course you do. Yeah, I know.
So we can live in a house independently.
Every time
I like
you,
it that my parents are not here, and we can have freedom. And I don't have to hear how I'm washing my cup. I like that.
That's good. Like, for example, when we went to San Francisco and we were also away from your parents, but actually we would hang out with his cousins, and his cousin, I love his cousins. They're very fun. As are his parents, just not like my age, the difference like in age, but like, I felt like you were more, and I was telling him that, and Michael would get angry at me, but I told him, Michael, I feel like when we're in San Francisco, and he got really angry at me when I told him that, But I told him, Michael, I feel like when you were in San Francisco, you were more like masculine, or like you were more of a masculine presence. I started feeling more like you're more of this like masculine, like adult, and I started feeling more like, and then we're back, and then I hear his mom, like, and she's not like
no. It's your
talking something, telling Michael, do this, do this, do this in the morning every time I wake up, and I'm just like, oh, this is so not sexy. Like,
we didn't do anything.
Talking of sexy.
No.
Our
your
next
manipulation
guest
of the situation, because as we're driving back, my mom didn't do anything. She's already like pinching my cheek. Oh, mommy. Oh, you're going back to your mommy. I'm just like, nothing has happened. It's all about her. I'm the same person in San Francisco as I am right now. Okay. I'm able to confront my parents about how they make me feel.
Your parents should not even be around there 24/7, so you should not even have anyone to confront so often. That's the thing.
I had a conversation, a family meeting, to tell my mom how she impacted me my whole life. Yes. About the panic attacks, about her micromanaging my life. Like, it was amazing for an adult child to get that off, to tell their parents. That's something that most Asian kids can't do to their parents.
Right.
And she's like here, making fun of me. She's like,
I'm not making fun
she just
of you.
has
I'm
like blinders on, and she's just like, oh, parents, and it's a red alert, and she just like spits all this crap out of her mouth.
No, I think we are in each other's life for a reason. I think you are in my life for a reason, so I can see your parents.
Sorry, Paul.
No, this is good.
Your parents, they don't abuse me or anything, and they're very nice to give me a place to stay. They let me use their car. They
literally paid for your car insurance.
They paid for my car insurance. So I think partly it is definitely it helps me heal that relationship to older figures, to older adults. Actually they're that they treat me well. I think I'm in your life for a reason, so I can help you, move out of your parents' house. And
I want to. I'll work hard, not to just continue living here. I'll work hard so we can have a financial plan.
More of adult, I guess, this masculine presence, And
okay, can I interject?
Okay, yeah, it's Paul's turn now.
I can interject. I can talk.
Sorry, I do have a very forceful quality.
No. This is good. I collected a lot of data as you guys were talking. That's why I was letting it go.
Enough for
people are
your next 10 podcasts.
No, I'm sure people are like, why isn't he letting them argue? God, he's a sucky coach.
No, I think you did it good.
No. What I wanted to do is figure out how you guys communicate, and what I heard over and over and over again is a problem that comes up in one of your mind. Michael has repeated over and over and over again, you don't make money, Daria. You don't make money. He says it over and over again. You don't make enough money. You don't make money. He says it over and over and over again. But you never stop and address that problem. Instead, you come back and say, I don't like living here. And now you have a problem that's also not being addressed. I don't like living here, this, your parents this, and you never address any problems. You just keep the flame doused with gasoline. You just keep going. So it never comes back to a problem. So what one of you has to do to start this process of healing from all this is address a problem, even if it's not resolvable. Living in the parents' house may not be resolvable today. Someday it will be. But if I were one of you, I would say, let's just stop. Hear me out. Here is my problem. And if I was Michael, I would say, look, I am scared. I'm addressing my own emotions. I am scared because you're not making enough money. I feel like X, Y, Z. I feel like I'm not a provider, or I do feel like a provider and you're not contributing, or whatever comes up for him. I'm just putting words in his mouth. And the same for you, Daria. Okay, now you stop so I can express my problem. And that was kind of what we were talking about last session, is when you are a person that listens and listens and listens, you are that rock. What happens is you both trigger each other, and you continue triggering each other. Again, put the boxing gloves on. Instead of addressing the problems that come up while you're in that state. Because now you're in fight or flight. Now you're just punching at each other and you're beating each other up. And and it typically probably doesn't end well. It just get, you finish the argument, you're like, let's just stop arguing, and let's get to something else, and maybe you make up or maybe you don't, but now there's hurt feelings, and you still have the problems. The problems are still there because you never really talked about them. So keep in mind that it's sometimes the problem may not be resolvable today. She may not be able to make any more money today, just like you may not be able to move out of the house today. These things that are things that you just have to accept. Okay, the problem's not resolvable, but let's talk about it anyway. Why are you bothered that I don't make enough money? Why does that bother you? Let's talk about that. And then maybe she'll start seeing some of your fears. This is when vulnerability comes in. Well, I'm afraid. If we don't have enough money, this is going to happen. And if she starts connecting with you at that level, instead of beating each other up, then there'll be some progress. Then they'll be like, okay, now I understand why you think or why you say that it's important for me to make money. And just like she'll say, now I understand why it's important for you, whatever, to be near your family or whatever it is. Address those problems instead of creating more and more and more flame or more gas on the fire. Because that's what's happening. It's just like, it was like, I don't know, what was that, 20 minutes? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's got to be hard for you guys. It's so de-energizing. It just drains you. It's like takes all the love out, and it's hard to support each other when you're beating each other up. And I know it because you're being triggered, and I know there's deeper stuff going on inside of you, and there's pain. But one of the deepest emotional human needs is to be heard and understood. And when I'm not heard and understood, then I'm going to come back at you. And hopefully you'll hear and understand me, but you're not. So now when you're not heard and understood, the same thing happens, and you keep going back and forth. So next time you start one of these arguments, or whatever it is, debates, or whatever you want to call them, remember that she wants to be heard and understood just like he wants to be heard and understood. It's hard to keep in mind, I understand, but if you can do that, just know that I just want my problem heard and understood. I know it may not be resolvable today, but I just want it heard and understood so that you know where I'm coming from. Because it always escalates, it escalates, it escalates. And then suddenly you're at these such, shallow things that you're talking about. Well, you left the toilet seat up. Well, you left the toothpaste cap off. And it just doesn't go anywhere. So when you dig it back down to the actual problems, you may find out that it has nothing to do with his parents or nothing to do with money, and it's some deeper level fears and things that come up. But, start at the problem. When you identify and label the problem, then talk about that problem. One of you has to stop and say, okay, let's talk about what you just said. It just has to happen. Because if you keep beating each other up, it's...
Can we do that right now?
Oh, you want to?
Like, just practice it.
Are you ready, Daria?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, just as a comment, I think the reason it's so hard for us, to just stop and start talking about the problem, because at least right now, it sounds like the problems that each of us addresses, it sounds like a put down of the other person. So Michael's problem is I don't make enough money, and to me it sounds like, oh, he's putting me down. My problem is Michael and I still live in his parents' house, and to him, I'm sure it also feels like, oh, she's putting me down, like as if I'm a mama's boy.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess that's the problem. The reason why it's so hard for us to stop and address and try to.
I shut off too because I feel like it comes from an unhealthy place, and then my saying you don't make enough money is a reaction to you saying you want to move out.
But anyway, let's address.
So it's just like we're just punching each other, yeah.
Well, that was good. You both addressed something inside of you just now, and it's true when we talk to our partner in an accusatory tone, it's not going to be as effective because it escalates. Accusatory always escalates. I always say flame on the fire. Accusatory always escalates. Gas on the fire. When you guys, what you just did now was, okay, let me step into myself for a second and say, this may be what's happening, and of course you're not in trigger mode now. You've kind of let your triggers diminish a little bit, and now you're communicating at a healthier level, I think. But if you wanted to, we could certainly talk about an issue. And I think one of the major issues right now is Michael's concern about how much money you make. And this isn't a judgment about how much you make or how much you contribute, but I want to hear Michael's concerns about that. What is, without you saying anything, Daria, just let him talk, even if it sounds accusatory. Because what happens is, as soon as he lets this stuff out, it's going to lose its energy. It's going to lose its energy, which means it's probably not really true when it sounds accusatory.
And I actually don't have that much of a problem with her not making that much money, because
Let me hear it.
I respect her finding her dreams.
Yeah,
So I feel like, okay, we live at my parents', you don't pay for rent and food, so you have the freedom to find what you want in life and not feel this financial pressure. Like if we're paying for rent, you have to pay, each of us has to pay for $400 or $300.
What is your problem, though? What is your problem? Because you've mentioned it, and you use it against her a lot. So
Because she wants to move.
Now, what is your problem? I don't want to hear her problem. I want to hear what inside of you. What is your problem? Yeah, it might be about her, sure. But how does that affect you? She wants to move. What are you going to say?
Oh, she wants to move out. I just feel like she's not ready.
Right,
I'm not ready.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're trying to make a decision and then jump into something where you're going to jump into fire because we don't have the money for that. You don't have the money for that. And it's just like, that bothers me.
Yeah, but why? How does it bother you? What's going on?
Because she's making an accusation on me saying, like, why do you live with your parents? I'm just like, well, we're not ready yet.
Right, but how is that bothersome to you? Because the issue is she doesn't make enough money.
Because then she distanced herself from my parents. She's just
right.
Like she's like a ghost.
Right.
Literally avoids them as much as she can.
This is great, Michael, because you are so disconnected from how you feel about this, because you continue to put it outside of you, to put it on her, put it on her, put it on her. She's disconnecting from my parents. She's doing this. She's doing this. But how does that affect you? Why is that even a problem in your mind? I mean, it's going to go to a deep level that you have not connected with for some reason, or refuse to for some reason. There's something emotional.
I thought you asked me what's my problem with her.
No,
right?
Well, we were talking about a specific problem. You said she doesn't make enough money. So how does that affect you? Why? How is that a problem? Hard not to blame, isn't it?
I'm trying to think of a situation.
You're in it all the time, man.
Okay. I think when we were renting a room, and then she told me she wasn't able to pay for rent, and then she told me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to work at that. She worked at some cafe. I'm not going to work there. I'm going to find online as a freelancer. And I was like, how are you going to make enough money when our rent is due within 5 days?
Well, see,
and you're going to quit the other job.
Stop.
So I feel unsafe.
There you go.
I feel
That's
like,
what I was looking for. Why? Why do you feel unsafe?
What are you doing pulling me into this?
Right. Tell me the feeling behind that. What's unsafe? What do you mean?
Like bringing me into the disaster situation of like we're having to shell out money, and then you're just like in la la mode and La La Land. And
right. So you going into this disaster situation, how does that make you feel?
Angry.
There you go. What else?
I'm thinking too much about this.
It's okay. Because
I'm like logically thinking when I should go into feelings.
It's okay. You said, she's going to pull me into this disaster. And so you felt some anger come up. So as soon as that came up, which is funny, I know you're still thinking that's okay.
Like she betrayed my trust. Because
she betrayed your trust.
I was living here and she's like, come on, let's live together. So I wasn't paying rent. And it's like, okay, I'm paying rent now. We're paying half. And now she's like, oh, now can you pay for me? And then she already owes me money for something else.
All right, stop.
You know?
Stop.
And I feel
Stop. Because what's happening is every time you go to an emotion, you jump back to a conscious detail. You go into an emotion, you go, oh, but this because she did this and because she did that. Instead of staying with that emotion, figuring out what is happening inside of you that feels unsafe. How is being unsafe a problem for you?
And I have to think about this.
I know
as
you
it
do.
Comes up.
It's a problem. That's the problem. You keep thinking. So if I say, you know what, Michael, she's never going to make any money. In fact, she's going to mooch off of you for the rest of your life. How does that make you feel?
Disrespected.
Disrespected. So what does disrespect mean to you? When someone disrespects you, what does that do inside of you? What's happening in there?
When she disrespects me, it really, really, really angers me.
So angry. What are you?
I feel violated.
Violated. Okay, there's a new word. What's being violated? Is it like a personal boundary, perhaps? Or is it something else?
Just the most fundamental respect that you would require.
So when you feel disrespected, when you feel violated, when you feel angry, what happens inside of you? What do you think is going to happen to you inside of you? What do you think is going to happen in your life?
What I think of what's going to happen if...
So when you feel violated, when you feel disrespected, when you feel angry, what else is coming up for you that is, I mean, you said you felt unsafe. What does it mean to be unsafe? I mean, at a personal level, not any details. Not any conscious details, but at a personal level, what does it mean to be unsafe and violated? Because this is primal, man. You got to get way down in there.
What if I were to relate it to like my work? I feel unsafe a lot.
As far as your work? Well,
like I even feel unsafe with that. So it goes into other areas.
Right,
too.
but being unsafe, here's the question. How is feeling unsafe and violated a problem? How is that a problem?
Because like at the end of the world.
The end of the world? Like what? What does that mean?
If I don't have better internet connection with Paul, or he's going to get so angry, I'm disappointing him. It's the end of the world.
Right, is that it?
Yeah, I was like freaking out, and I was just like...
So your world ends, is that what you're saying? What does that mean?
He's asking you, like, why is it a problem for you if you don't feel safe, I guess? Why do you want to...
He's there, he's almost there. It's almost there. So you feel unsafe, you feel violated, and it's the end of the world. What does that mean?
Well, I think the violated, unsafe, I'm not sure if they're the same part.
Okay, two different things?
Maybe, I don't know.
So you're kind of stuck there. That's okay. That's okay. I'm just going to leave you there for a minute because what we did was kind of drill down into the problem. Because the problem is, the moment is never about the problem. The moment is about what's happening at your deepest emotional core. And it's very primal. It's very instinctual typically. And when you get to a point where you just can't describe the feeling, but you feel it, that's typically where the root is. It may be associated with a childhood memory or whatever, but that's typically where the root of the issue is. Now, to me, it doesn't sound like you've visited this area before. It sounds like you always knew consciously what to blame her about or what she needs.
Or how about I feel stupid that I can't really answer your question? Right?
That's fine too. That's fine
like
too.
I feel that I'm fighting that emotion. Like, why don't I understand that? I'm so stupid. I can't even get to this healing point.
It's not about healing, and it's okay if you can't figure out the question, because I'll tell you something about me. I don't like to ask questions that you can answer easily. So it's not designed to make you feel stupid. It's designed so that they're almost unanswerable. It's almost like a paradoxical question. There is an answer, though. The answer is to allow whatever to come up to come up. If you feel stupid comes up, that's fine. But what's below that? Oh, if you feel angry. Oh, what's below that? If you feel unsafe, if you feel violated, whatever. There's always something below at the next level when you drill down. And that's where I was taking you. Because if this is like our first session, Michael, when I asked you, okay, what would happen if you lost your job? What would happen if you lost all your money? What would happen if you lost Daria? What would happen if you lose your house? And you kept drilling down. You finally connected with a fun, happy part of yourself, which was great, which was unexpected, actually. But this is what I do with problems as well. When a problem or a challenge, as you may call it as a coach, a challenge comes up in your life, you drill down and say, okay, how is this a problem in your life? Well, it's a problem because she's doing this. Well, how is that a problem? Well, because I get angry when she does this. Well, how is being angry a problem? Well, I don't want to be angry. Well, why don't you want to be angry? You see how I keep drilling down to figure out how things are a problem. Because even if you feel unsafe, like if I felt unsafe right now, the reason that would be a problem for me is because I have a intrinsic fear. If I'm unsafe, I'm fearing. All right, what are you fearing? I don't know. I fear like if I don't have enough money, I'll go hungry, I guess. And it's like, oh, you'll go hungry. You think you'll go hungry, and that leads to everything leads to a primal fear, like you're a caveman. You know, it's like if you don't have the resources.
What about the feeling that comes up when? Because I know I projected onto. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And there's a feeling and anger attached to that. Is that something worth exploring?
Everything's worth exploring if it's repressed and coming out in non-constructive ways. So anything that comes out in a non-constructive way, or in a damaging, destructive, anything that comes out in a destructive way is worth digging into. Typically,
and I'll say something like earlier. I was just at working at my dad's pharmacy, and it was getting close to time to leave, and I misplaced my keys, and then I was like, "Oh my!" And the whole time I was looking for it, I was like, "You dumb!" And like telling myself, "You dumb motherfucker! You dumb motherfucker! How could you lose your fucking keys?" You know, how can you just like, you literally, it's somewhere here. How could you lose them? Why come I can't find it? You dumb. It's like, that was just like the repeat player.
Sure.
And he says the same to me.
Yeah, I do that.
All the time. That's the thing.
Same words?
Huh?
Does he speak to you like that?
Sometimes he calls me motherfucker.
Oh, wow.
Or something similar. I don't remember. I don't memorize. But it's like, what you do inside, like yourself with the keys, like that sounds exactly what you do to me with like really small things. Because like, what's the big deal? You lost your keys, you'll find them. Or like, what's the big deal? Like, you know, I didn't like do something, or like I didn't do something exactly as you wanted. Like, so what, I did another way. But you really get like upset really like easily about those small things.
Sure, that's because there's something really deep that he's having trouble connecting to right now with, and until whatever that is, I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily released. It just has to be discovered. As soon as that's discovered, because when you feel unsafe, it's like, okay, how do you feel unsafe? What is unsafe? You know, I could ask you, I can continue digging until we got to a really core issue inside of you, because that's where everything's coming from. All these bursts that you're having is coming from a deep place that you don't go to. That's why you get in your car and you look at your phone, because you don't want to go there. But because when you go there, you hear, you know, negative self-talk. You hear derogatory words about yourself and how stupid you are and all this other stuff. But that goes so much deeper, and it's typically not in your own voice. You may have created it in your voice now. You may have transformed it into your voice, but it's typically not in your voice. It's typically someone in your life, whether it's your mom or dad or some authority in your past. So when you hear those words, here's what I want you to practice. I'm going to give you a practical piece of advice now. When you hear those words, I want you to say the exact same thing in a high-pitched helium Mickey Mouse sounding voice. Say the exact same thing. You stupid mother effer, but it's going to be like, you stupid mother effer. I can't even do it. It's going to be the highest pitch, even a chipmunk. The chipmunk.
What if I use a Chinese accent?
You can do it that way too. You can do it that way too. And I want you to try it right now. Remember losing your keys and use that high-pitched or Chinese accent or whatever you want to do. Do it.
Oh, I won't do it in a Chinese accent.
Do it. Whatever makes you laugh like that. Because
whatever makes me laugh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll say in a Chinese accent.
Aka, his mom is talking.
AKA, not Aka.
Whatever. That's his mom.
You stupid motherfucker!
Now, does that make you laugh, first of all?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, because when you change the voices inside your head, it helps you reassociate and also disconnect the anchor to the negative emotions. So this is very practical, very process-oriented, where you can do the exact same thing you're doing now, but just change the way it sounds. You can say it at high speeds. You can say it at high voices. I told a friend of mine to do it in a chipmunk voice, and she just cracked up, and she couldn't get the negativity back. Because that's what happens, is you practice that a little bit, and you can't get the negativity back because you're talking to yourself in this funny, stupid-sounding voice, and suddenly it doesn't have the same meaning, doesn't have the same feeling, doesn't have the same emotional impact. So I fully allow you to continue giving yourself negative self-talk, but only in those voices. And if the other one wins out, if the more dominant, jerky one wins out, then let them two argue and then listen to the argument, because it's funny. But allow that to happen inside your head, and that's just one piece of practical advice for you to at least start disconnecting the not so deep-rooted, but the very high-level outbursts that come out of you. And the more you do that inside your head, the less it's going to be externalized and pointed at her. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start laughing before you start yelling, which is good. Laughter is a great state break. It just breaks your state and you're like, oh. But, there's going to be times when you're going to get triggered and you're not going to want to do it, but, bring that other funny voice in to have a conversation with the other jerky voice, and then that'll be just something you can practice. It's not the heal. You're going to be healed now, Michael. It's just going to be something you can practice to start breaking away the layers of the onion. So the first layer of the onion is that negative self-talk. Because negative self-talk is very conscious. It comes from a subconscious place. But negative self-talk is right there at your conscious level, ready to come out of your mouth. It's like right there. And it's also talking to your subconscious, going, what else you got? What else you got? Oh, I'm mad about that too. Okay, I'm mad about that too. So it's feeding, continuously feeding. So as soon as you break that first layer and start rewiring your brain there, then you can go to the next layer and see what's there. But let's get rid of that filter that keeps coming, because everything that's coming out of your subconscious mind is being filtered through this angry, scared, person and coming out into the world. Daria, you want to discuss a problem?
Oh, my problem?
Yeah, you have a turn too.
So my problem is that, I'm kind of...
And you have to be quiet, Michael. No matter what she says. I'll prompt you, don't worry.
But I don't know. I don't necessarily see it as a, problem, though, in a way, because I am more realistic. At first when we moved in, I was like, oh, this is so annoying. But now I'm realistic, and I'm starting to realize that everything will come to me very slowly but steadily, and it's not like I can move out right now. So I feel like I'm becoming more enlightened about this,
Wow, I'm a really good coach.
Sorry?
I'm a really good coach. I didn't do anything.
You sound like two different people from the other person that was just talking.
Who, me? Are you talking about to me? About me?
What you just said right now.
Oh, Yeah.
No, let's go. Go ahead. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I think I just have this fear that, like, moving out of the house right now or anything, that's not necessarily like my priority. And that's because I know I can't. It's not like I have other options. Or they would not be like, I guess, I don't know. So that's not really something that bothers me right now. I think what really kind of like scares me is that when hopefully there comes the time, like, that I am actually able to move out, that I guess the reason I'm worried is because when we already like did move in together outside of his parents' house, Michael would keep coming like every day into his parents' house, and he would always complain how he hates that place, and the place wasn't nice at all. But he would always, like, every day he would wake up basically and leave, and then he would only come back like for dinner, only when I was there. He didn't really like being in that place. It does make sense because it wasn't a nice place to rent, and the area was crappy. So it's true, but that I didn't have a feeling like, oh, we're building a home together, because he was gone like at nights he would only sleep there, and even there, like, sometimes when we got into an argument he wouldn't sleep there, and to me it was very traumatic because every time he would leave it would put me into panic mode, because like every time we had an argument and he left for the night to sleep at his parents' house, that brought me a lot of like triggered a lot of like pain in me. Right. And so my fear is mostly now that when I hopefully once do have the opportunity to move out, that he will follow me and actually will like leave his parents' house behind, not try to like keep going back. That he won't refuse to move out with me and really like live together as adults, like, and not him keep going back to his mom, to his dad, like to his parents' house every day or as much as possible.
All right. Why does that bother you?
That really scares me because,
why?
I mean, because then I would have to give up this idea, this like dream and idea of a relationship with him, you know, like, who is like an equal, like adult, a masculine, like presence, an adult, a grown up, with whom I can like build, like a home together, a family together.
Right. But how, okay. So let's just say that didn't happen. You didn't see that happening in Michael. What is happening inside of you because of that?
Like, if I imagine that bad scenario that I'm describing.
Yeah, we're going to the bad scenario now. Because that's where you're going. Yeah, because that's where you're going in your mind. You're taking it to a bad place. You're not envisioning that he is going to, whatever your words you want to use, man up and move out with you and everything's going to be great. You're envisioning that it's not going to happen. So when you envision that, what happens inside of you? Are you getting, what are you experiencing inside of you as far as what you're feeling, what you're fearing, so on?
I'm feeling very disappointed and very sad.
Why?
Very disappointed and very sad because I have to like just go on with my life, I guess. I don't know.
Why? How would that?
And give up.
Okay. Huh? Okay, go ahead. Give up what?
Because I have to give up that idea of like my life together with him as adults, and I guess go on with my life. Like, I don't know.
Right. And how is that bad?
It's not bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad.
It might be. I'm just saying, because when you say give up your life with him, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel upset, but at the same time, it makes me feel disappointed, you know, but at the same time, like, yeah.
Why?
And just lonely, you know, obviously, because it would be nice to have a life with someone instead of like.
Why?
But, you know, because.
I know I'm mean with these questions, but
No, I don't feel like you're. No, I mean, because when I was single, I was happy, and but I would feel sometimes like lonely. Although I was really happy, like I was never like, I did not, like before I met Michael, I did not feel like, oh, when am I finally going to meet someone? Oh my God, you know, like I was very, like I had a very satisfying like life as a single person, very interesting life. I did a lot of things. Sometimes I would feel like lonely, like because I love traveling, and I would go traveling quite a lot when I was still single. But like sometimes I was like, oh, I see those couples and they're like together, and I'm like, I wish I had like, you know, a partner next to me, you know. So I guess there's just so much joy to sharing your life and, you know, all your experiences and your passions, your interests, everything with another person. And obviously, like, coming to a point where that person, like, doesn't want to keep going with you, or like, I don't know, where your ways, like, part in different directions just because you feel like this is the direction I'm not willing to give up. And then that person is like, but I want to go in a different direction, and that's the direction I don't want to give up. So, of course, like, it's sad. But at the same time, because there are certain things, I guess, that you just don't want to accept in your relationship, and you prefer to go, like, your separate way. So... even though it's so much more joyful to share your life with another person.
It's kind of hard for you to connect with this, isn't it? Connect with what you would lose or what you would feel. It's almost like you're trying to rationalize.
Really? I don't feel that way.
Well,
but okay.
That's okay. We can. You may feel something different. Maybe you're just having trouble conveying it to me. But,
okay.
But what I'm hearing is that you're not really saying, this is what I'd feel. You're basically saying, well, you know, people feel sad when this happens. And when couples are together, they feel better when they're together. You're not really talking about yourself. And it's actually, you're talking about couples in a third person way. And so that's why I'm saying that it sounds like to me you're having trouble connecting with that part of you that is connected to Michael or connected to a relationship. And that's why I'm asking, if Michael were to not follow you, and I'm not saying that's going to happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
If Michael were not to follow you, if that's how you say it, we're not to not follow you, and what would happen inside of you? What feelings would you get? What emotions would occur, or anything? What's happening in there?
I mean, upset.
Upset. Good.
Very, very upset.
Good.
That's
good. Why would you be upset?
Well, because I'm on my own.
All right. And being on your own, how does that feel?
Initially, not good.
Not good. Like?
Initially.
But
eventually, like, I can...
Going back to rationalization. Yeah, you're rationalizing now. So...
initially not good. Yeah, I mean,
very sad. Everyone's
like
empty. Everyone heals from a breakup eventually, and I understand that, and I think you do, and Michael knows that. So yes, it's maybe you're going in the direction of like, you know, I've been alone before, I can do it again, it's fine, but there's something there that you're really connected to, but having trouble either conveying it to me or getting in touch with the feeling. Now, the deeper feeling that you'd be upset, you know, I would be upset if Michael didn't follow me. When you think about that, what's in that upset? Is there any fear? Is there any sadness? Is there any anger? What's in there? It's okay if you can't think of it. It's okay.
There's not anger, and there's not... like, it's just a feeling of major sadness, but also a feeling of, like, relief, because now since he didn't follow me, I can be more in control of my own life, I guess. Okay,
this is good. Now, Michael, don't take everything seriously like, oh, if you don't follow me, I'll be very happy.
I want to say something really bad, but I'm just...
No. This is good.
I want to say something.
No. Because what we say at these deepest level moments are things that may not be 100% true or may be 100% true. It doesn't matter. But it needs to come out so that we can work with them. So, you know, my wife once told me that she hated me, even though I knew it wasn't true, but I knew it had to come out. And once she said that, we were closer. So it was like perfect. The energy behind what we say is what needs to come out. And that's when she says things. So,
but just one thing. When we were renting that room,
rules, dude.
Sorry. When we were renting the room, we had an angry episode. She kicked me out of the bed, and I felt really disrespected. So, you know, I was like, I'm not going to sleep on the floor. I'm going to go to my parents' house and sleep there. That triggered this. I think it's related to that feeling you're trying to get to, because that triggered an amazing feeling within her. Within her. And you're asking about, what if I didn't follow her?
Right.
I think those feelings are related, because she went ballistic over that, and that there's that feeling. I think they're related.
What do you think, Daria?
Oh, you mean like when you left me and went to sleep? Or like, I mean, to sleep elsewhere? Well, that's kind of different because it wouldn't be like you leaving me. It would be more like I didn't have, like, I guess, like, because I didn't really, like, have, like, a father there all the time. So for me, like, it would be nice to have someone who's, like, who doesn't leave and with whom I can build a home where the other person doesn't leave and also, like, is with me, like, chooses me.
Right. Yeah. Good call, Michael. You got it. You got it. So there's something there's something deeper in there, and it's good that he brought that up because obviously that is kind of a touching emotional place for you to go, not having a father and also fearing that he would leave. I think maybe, and I'm totally guessing here, is that the little rebel comes up in you and says, "Fine, leave. I can handle life on my own. I did it all my life. I don't need you." Am I anywhere close when I say that? Not really.
I think there's two feelings.
Okay.
Like, one feeling is that I get, like, super upset.
All right. What's that? What's that about?
Like,
there it is.
no, just, yeah, I mean, it's true. Even, like, talking about being left, like,
there you go.
It really, like, upsets me.
It's hard to connect with, isn't it? That's what you were having trouble connecting with. It upsets you.
But the thing, I also feel like it's, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. But I feel like, on one hand, I get so upset and I start crying and I go crazy if I feel like Michael is leaving me, or this, like, feeling of, like, being left alone. I'm lonely. I'm alone. And it brings a lot of pain to me. But I feel like maybe I'm just saying that to, like, sound like I'm not such, like, a loser who feels like I'm being left alone. But I feel like there definitely is also another part to me which is very self-sufficient, very strong, and I can have a very like and actually even want to have a satisfactory life. Yeah. Just like, even if there is no other if there is no partner, like,
there you go. Just
because, like, I honestly, like, when I was single, like, I before I met Michael, I was really like I wasn't desperate anyway, or because I have so many interests, like, and one of my huge interests is, like, travel and see the world and visit all those places, and also, like, having my friends and just doing, like, things like translation and things like that. And so I feel like, yeah, there is a lot of this pain, and I start crying and, like, oh, like, lonely, and especially, like, this, like, feeling of, like, oh, like, he goes away, he sleeps somewhere else, and I'm left on my own for the night. But at the same time, like, I feel, at least, I think, I might be wrong, but I think I have this other part to me where I'm really, like, self-sufficient and don't, like...
That's fine. That's fine. Now stop right there, because the reason I wanted to dig into you both like that is because the next time you start communicating ineffectively, remember where each other are at. Michael, if you know Daria, it has a really deep level fear of being alone, then probably the worst thing you can do is abandon her or leave, or, this is the time when your masculinity kicks in and goes, you know what? I'm here for you. I know you're pissed off at me and I'm pissed off at you, but you know what? I'm here for you. I'm by your side. Because that's her deepest level need, or at least one of them. It's one of her deepest level needs.
The thing is, he would do, actually, when we were renting the room together, he would, and it's probably something, obviously, or like with, like, something he gets triggered or whatever, but he would do, like, exactly the opposite. He would, like, leave me, because he knows that that's, like the worst thing he can do to me. He knows it's, like, to, like, leave for the night. And that's exactly what he would do, like, consciously, like abandon me. And he would tell me, well, you have to deal with it. This is your fear. Deal with it. Because he, like, leaves and he does it consciously. And he tells me, like, deal with it. Right, so it'd be really hard for me.
Yeah. It's a defense mechanism on his part. He's doing it out of defense for himself. It's a survival thing for him as well. You both have your own survival mechanisms, but right now I want you to take a new step towards each other, not physically right now, but in the sense that you know what each other deepest fears, deepest upsets are from this conversation, at least one of them. Because knowing that she's going to get upset and she's going to upset you and you're going to get triggered, Michael, knowing that's going to happen, probably the worst thing to do for the benefit of your relationship is to fulfill her worst fear. Because that's what's happening. You are fulfilling one of her worst fears. It may not be her worst fear, but it is a fear. And when you fulfill that role, you will continue breaking down your intimacy. You will continue breaking down a lot of your relationship. And the same exact thing goes for you, Daria. When you feel like attacking him, remember he just shared his most vulnerable, or he tried to connect with it, but I think you know where he was going with it. He shared a very vulnerable part with himself with you. There's a lot of fear in there, and there's it's not anger is part of that, but that's just on top of everything else. I think it's just fear and worry. And when you approach him, knowing that he's worried or fearful, then don't take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, I think that the reason we are together, like, we're able to continue having a relationship is that we do, like, attack each other, like we did, like, earlier, obviously. We attack each other, and then he can, like, call me names, and then, you know, we attack each other, blah, blah, blah. And it's really bad. But I think that, like, what really helps, though, to keep, like, having a relationship as opposed to just breaking up because we're so angry at each other is having that somewhere, like, deep inside that keeps, like, that understanding, like, just being, like, humane, I guess, to the partner. Like, even though, like, oh, you're such a mama's boy, and there's all these things that annoy me about you. But then I also have, like, faith in him. Like, even when he attacks me, like, in the past couple of days, I'm like, he's probably, like not feeling good, or, like, there's something, like, within him. Having that kind of just, like, I don't know how to say it, like, humane, or this kind of just, like...
civil.
Like, understanding way towards each other. Like, you told me... Like, yeah, that was, like, love, just, like, that loving, I guess, approach to the other person, even though they may be, like, annoying or anything. Like, I don't know whether I make sense. But
yeah, it's a non-volatile way to communicate. It's you speaking productively with him. The thing that happens, and him with you as well. And Michael, you can talk anytime, by the way. You can talk anytime you want.
But I understand what you're saying, but I feel like what else you're trying to say is like we go through this cycle and we need to break this cycle.
Well, the cycle is I know your weak spot and I'm going to attack you there. That's the cycle every time. I know your weak spot. I'm going to attack you there.
We're attacking each other's weak spots.
Yeah, you know subconsciously or consciously that she is afraid of abandonment, so you're definitely going to use that when you're mad at her, and she knows, and we still haven't really figured out your deepest fear or concern, Michael, but it's right there. You're right on the verge of figuring it out, but she knows it because she knows how to trigger it.
But I don't feel like it consciously, though. Like,
you don't. It's subconscious, and then it goes through your conscious filter of I'm going to get you, or I'm going to defend myself, and the way I defend myself is by getting you. And the same thing goes with him. You guys have a conscious filter that is creating negativity towards each other. It's hard, man. It's hard. I understand. You guys get triggered, and all you want to do is say, well, you. This is your fault, and this is why we're not going anywhere with this. And it really does come back to the what is it, 3 fingers pointing back at yourself? Because you do have deep level upset, deep level fears. But the whole point of this is being vulnerable with each other in an environment that's safe. And this is what I did for both of you. I created a safe environment by telling one of you not to speak. And this is important for anyone if we even air this. If you create a safe environment for each other the same way, the way I did it for you, then you start bonding in a different way. You start rebuilding that foundation because your foundation's really shaken right now. It's really shaken because if you never got help on this issue and then you got married, I can guarantee it wouldn't last. It wouldn't. It couldn't last. It couldn't. There's so much hostility towards each other. So,
but it's always like that with us. It's been like that for like since we met. Really,
it's been that way since 4,000 years ago. My generations and generations. So it's always. So that's the way it is. No, it's not. I know it's always been that way. But is that something you like? Is that something you enjoy?
No, but it's like a cycle. We get like super angry at each other for some reason, and then like it's all great, and then again like something like really upsetting or angry, and it's like a cycle. It would be nice to break out of it, obviously.
Well, it's funny because when I was married, my wife brought up all these triggers in me, and I got upset, and I got sad, and I felt rejection, and I just all these triggers came up in me, and I systematically broke them down, released them, processed them, everything I thought. And then I started a new relationship with a girlfriend. I haven't had triggers for years now. And I started a new relationship. And a new person in my life is suddenly bringing up triggers that never occurred in my marriage. I was like, what the heck? I thought I was over all this stuff. And so now my new girlfriend's triggering me. Not often now. Thankfully, I've gotten over most of them. But you never know what's in there 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That's just been sitting there dormant, waiting for the right person, like Daria says. We were meant to be together. Yay! Let's trigger each other. But, boy, that's a golden opportunity, because if you don't trigger each other, then you can't work on it. You don't know what to work on. So I'm in this new relationship, and I'm figuring out new stuff to work on. I'm like, oh, I thought I was over all this. But that's an opportunity. That's why I say when the problem comes up, address it in the moment. Don't continue battling. Go, oh, you just said this. You just said that you don't like me not making money. Let's talk about that. Okay, what's going on with that? So that's why I said when these problems come up, it's great to address them as they're happening instead of bringing up more problems, and you let the toilet seat up and you let the toothpaste cap up, and because it escalates into nothingness. So I think I've been redundant.
I think I have a question because I guess like for me it's kind of hard because I would like to do what you're saying, like talk about it. But it seems like most of the problems that Michael has with me, it's mostly about things that in the moment I'm not doing or I didn't do right or he wants me to do, like helping him make breakfast or...
Well, Michael needs to... Here, let me stop you. Michael does need to practice, and this is something we talked about before you walked in. Michael does need to practice asking more. And before he comes upstairs and finds all the windows open, before that happens, he needs to ask ahead of time, going, you know what? Hey, while you're out there, can you close the windows for me? Because I would feel better that way. Okay. So Michael does need, and maybe you do too, I don't know your situation, but there's a passive comment that comes out later where Michael might go, why are all these windows open? Damn it. Instead of an hour before, he could have resolved that by saying, hey, while you're up there, could you shut the windows because I would feel better about it.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'll do it. So it's going to take a little bit of practice because there's a lot of assumptions maybe on both of your parts, but I know on Michael's part, because he told me, there's a lot of assumptions like, she should know better. She should know what I'm thinking. She should know the right thing to do. She should know this stuff. And I was telling him, I was like, just pretend that she doesn't and just ask her and just say, hey, would you mind doing this? Would you mind doing that? Can you do this for me? And that way it just eliminates any possibility of anything going wrong, because I know we want to assume our partner is always going to do the right thing, but they will never be as good as us. That was my problem. She would never be as good as I am. She would never be as smart. She will never be as cunning or clever. No matter what, I always had the highest standards, and I tried to make her live up to them, and it never worked. And I started learning that I need to understand that she is not me. She's a totally different person with a totally different history, and I need to accommodate that. If I love and support her, I need to accommodate that and say, you know what? She's brilliant in her own way. She doesn't know me. She doesn't know what's going on inside of me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to ask her. Mm-hmm. Hey, would you mind? Hey, would you mind doing the dishes? Instead of going, these dishes have been in here for 3 days and you haven't done them yet? No, I'm going to go, hey, I noticed some dishes in the sink. Would you mind doing them for me? I do them, but I don't want to. Or I'm lazy or whatever. Could you mind? And we'll see where it goes. She might say, no, why don't you do them? All right, I will.
That would be really helpful, because I really because I'm it's not that I don't want to do those things or anything. Like, if you could just tell me, if you could just really make sure to tell me that, I think it would be really helpful, because I'm willing to do those things. Like, for example, exactly with the windows, because you told me right before we're leaving, you're the windows, why they open. If you just get up and tell me in the morning right away, Daria, when you leave the room, please remember to close the windows. It would just help me. Or with the smoothies, right in the morning maybe, or the night before, you can tell me, hey Daria, tomorrow, can you help me with the smoothies, or can you help me with some other preparation to make breakfast or anything? Because I'm totally willing to do those things, or if I'm not willing, I'll tell you.
Because I feel that my fear is that you're not, because you're not willing. But I've seen from past experience that you actually are more willing than I give you credit for.
Yeah.
But I still have that fear that.
Today, for example, today you asked me right to pick you up at the pharmacy with my car, right, to help you load those things. So I came right when you asked me, right, and I planned my day so that I can help you. So it's not that I'm not willing; I am willing, but often you don't. The thing is, most of the time you don't tell me, so there's nothing for me to be willing to do, since you don't even ask me. Just ask me way in advance. Tell me this is what I want you to do, and then I'll do it. Or if I really don't want to do it, I'll be honest with you. But most of the time I will be willing to do it, because it's not I want to upset you or anything.
I think he gets it. And also, Michael, be prepared that when you ask the night before, she may actually forget the morning of. Yeah. And I'm just preparing you, because she admitted it. She's a free spirit. And what that means is sometimes her mind just kind of wanders and, oh, I told you I'd do that? Oh, I guess I did.
Spot on.
I call it as I see it. So what I'm telling you is, don't be upset when that happens. Just know that she does it.
Then I don't take it personally.
Right.
Because I take it personally, you're not committed to this relationship. I'm just serving you the whole time.
It's not.
That's the anchor.
Not. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's not that.
And if I remember that you asked me, I'll definitely try to do it.
I think her intentions are true. It's just sometimes she gets a little scattered and she's off doing something else as a free spirit, because she's always been that way. So if you can accept that about her and work with her on that, it's going to help a lot. It's going to help a lot. And what that does is reinforce your trust in each other. And Michael, it also starts letting you feel more comfortable, letting go of some of the fears, letting go of some of the mistrust or the disrespect, things that are coming up, because you'll find out that soon you are getting along so much better, and soon she's going to be doing things and you're going to be surprised because she just did it before you even asked, because there needs to be a level of trust rebuilding in there, in my opinion. All right, that's good. That's a good relaxing pose you got there.
Well, we ended on a good point.
As you can tell, we're
hugging each other. So
this is going to be a 3-part episode.
I know, literally. This is this, I have a weekly episode now, and this is going to create 3 episodes in 1 week.
Awesome. I think we should leave it there. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I don't know. It might lead to another hour.
I know. No, why don't we leave it there and just...
I think, but I don't know. I guess my reaction, my overreaction to her is I guess it's the message is why can't you take care of yourself? And I know this is about me.
Sure, but remember to use the Mickey Mouse voice.
You say?
Remember to use that high-pitched voice when you say things like that.
Because why can't you take care of yourself?
Oh, there you go. You want to take the energy out of the talk. That's all it's doing.
What does that do? Because you said that will... Okay, tell me.
No, I
just want to refresh.
When you have any negative self-talk going on, it's usually quite putting you down in some way, or trying to put her down in your mind. So what you want to do is take out the emotional impact that it has, the energy behind it. And what you do is you change the voice. It can be high-pitched, it can be fast-paced, it can be whatever you want it to be. That doesn't sound natural. So eventually the connection to the emotional energy behind it dissipates, because you can still say the same things. Why don't you? Whatever in the funny voice. And then at least when that happens, when you talk to her, that emotion doesn't come out in your verbalizations, in your expressions. Do you understand what I mean?
The emotional attachment to it.
Well, not only the attachment, just the energy behind it. Because when you're in your mind, you're like, oh, you're angry. But when you make it that funny voice or speed it up or whatever, it kind of diminishes that. So when you do talk to her for real, you're not in that same space of anger. You're in a lighter space. Now you can be more productive. You're not so dramatic about everything.
Okay.
You get that? Okay.
And because Paul said that actually a lot of those like negative things, those negative voices that you have in your head when you talk to yourself, like why you mother, how did you lose those keys, that inner voice? Paul said that actually a lot of that negative like talk that you have going on within yourself, talking to yourself, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that Paul said that those voices are not even like from you. A lot of them actually come from your childhood, like from some authorities or your parents or teacher or anyone. So it's not even like your actual voices, but over time, for years,
it becomes my voice.
Conditioning.
And so you talk to yourself as if it is your own voice. So Paul is telling you, use a high-pitched voice because it will help you not only like lighten up, but also realize disconnected because it's not even you in the first place. It's just that you took it to be your own voice, but it's not. It came from someone else. Like,
good job.
Yeah, she's pretty smart. She one-upped me. One up. No, that's true. And the reason I know it doesn't start off as your voice ever, and it only becomes your voice, is because you weren't born with it. You weren't. The only way that could have ended up in your head is if somebody told you something that made you feel less than who you are. That's when the negative stuff starts. When you're a child, when you're writing the crayon on the wall and your dad comes in and goes, "You are so stupid for writing on my walls." You just hear, "I'm so stupid." And then you start making that a recording in your own mind, in your own voice, and then that also then spreads out to the world. They're stupid too. Look at them. They're writing on the wall. They're stupid too. You know how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's midnight.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh my God, it's
Thank
12:30. You guys are awesome.
He's gonna be like, he's gonna be really loving to his girlfriend right now because, like, wow, our relationship rocks.
I can't wait to tell you all about this.
You won't believe what I had to listen to.
Oh my God, let me.
You think you're angry at me about this? Listen to this.
Next
It's helpful to coach each other in a relationship too, but.
time we're coaching Paul and his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's smart.
That's what we're doing this time.
Actually, what I just said is wrong. It's not helpful sometimes to coach each other, so never mind what I just said. You have to be a very special, disconnected from yourself person in order to help coach the one in your life. You just have to disconnect from who you are, and that's very hard to do, so never mind, I didn't say that. All right, you guys are great.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul.
Thanks for doing this. All right, guys. I'm going to bed now.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
I'm so glad you guys just opened up and we're totally... Yes, let's all bow. You're bowing to me now.
I don't. We haven't told you this, but we have a 20-foot statue of you in front of our house.
Oh yeah. You didn't mention that? You didn't mention that?
Yes,
How come you didn't?
we have to bow down to it before we enter the house and say our prayers and our blessings.
I have a 30-foot statue of me in my house, too. I know how you feel. You guys are too much.
All right, well, thanks again so much, Paul.
Good night. Have a good one. Good luck, guys.
Okay. Bye.
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 Now, since this aired, I've heard from Michael, and he was telling me how surreal it's been going through this coaching and how it's helped them both so much in their relationship. This episode is already over by almost an hour, so I don't want to take up any more of your time here, but if you're still listening, I just want to tell you that one of the most important steps you can take in your relationships is to do the following. Listen to the person, acknowledge the issue, and address the issue. Yes, you may have to wait to state your side, So you'll have to practice. Otherwise, when you listen, you show that you are there for them. When you acknowledge, they feel like they are important. And when you address the issue, they feel like you are wanting to understand them. So many arguments and breakups can be avoided just by doing those three things. It's a place of giving space. So listen, acknowledge, and address. And then worry about what you need and the message you want to convey after they've expressed what they need to express. By giving the people in your life the space and safety they need to communicate to you, you help release the tension that can build and turn into something much more heated and hard to stop once it starts. Communicate on a whole new level so that you can love more deeply and support those who just want to be understood. You may not always get the same treatment back, but in time, if you have a partner that truly wants to support you, you will. The more you give space to them, the more they'll feel supported by you, empowering them to support you more. Thank you for listening to another episode of The Overwhelmed Brain. I thank Wanda, Randall, Sheila, Jennifer with a G, Jennifer with a J, Karen, Kathy, Leslie, Sarah, Bo, Leanne, Alexandria, Cindy, Asha, Greg B for his continuous support through Facebook, Kate, Gineth, I think, Bernard, Alex, Jenny, Jim, and Mohammed. Keep up with the show by heading over to theoverwhelmedbrain.com and sign up for your weekly personal growth message. You can also write to me anytime by sending me an email to paul@theoverwhelmedbrain.com. And as of this recording, I am now providing relationship coaching on a case-by-case basis. If this is a service that you'd like to invest in for you and your partner, simply reach out to me and we'll see if I'm a fit for your needs. I want to thank the listeners who are using the Amazon link on the site to support the show. Be sure to shop at Amazon using the link theoverwhelmedbrain.com/Amazon. If you find this show valuable to you, just say thank you by using the Amazon link before you make your next purchase from them. And while you're there, look for my ebook, Clear the Path to Happiness. You are all making a difference, and it's going towards a good cause. You. And if I didn't call your name in this episode, just know that I appreciate you and thank you for being there for me, listening, learning, and growing. Michael and Daria really put themselves out there to be heard by the world. That takes courage, but what I really appreciate about them is that they will do whatever it takes to make their relationship work. If you're in a relationship that is challenging in some way, are you willing to do whatever it takes to make it work? What is that whatever it takes thing for you? Is it counseling? Is it improving yourself in some way? Is it just giving space to your loved one so that he or she can express everything on their mind without you reacting? Whatever it is for you, take the step if you want to make the relationship work. Be bold and take big steps to create the most fulfilling relationship you deserve. Remember, relationships are about relating to people. So even if you aren't in a romantic relationship, the better you are at relating to anyone, the better you will be at relating to your most beloved. Step into your power and be firm in your decisions and actions so that you can create the life and relationships you want. When you do this, you'll discover what I already know to be true about you, that you are amazing.
want to. I'm watching this YouTube video. And I was like, initially I was like, come on, you agree. This is important. Like, come on, honey, this is important. Our relationship is important. And I said, I know I have this evilness or this pain within me, and it comes out in our relationship. So your point of view will help me understand it.
That's good. That's good.
And then she's like, okay.
Do we have to fix this relationship? Oh.
No.
Why bother?
No, but like I communicated in a calm, loving way. I didn't need to be explosive, and I still got the same reaction.
So you didn't say, "You better get up there, bitch." You better get off your butt and get up there. This wasn't a question.